Happy Sunday, everyone, and welcome to Our Issues Birmingham. Today's guest is Uche Bean with the City of Birmingham Division of Social Justice and Racial Equity. Welcome to our show. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
So we're always looking for guests, and it was recommended to you to me by actually our camera person here, who's with me today, as a guest that I should have. And I spoke to Mayor Woodfin, who also said that would be a good idea. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you ended up in this position with the City of Birmingham.
Well, absolutely. Thank you again for having me, and thank you for the recommendation. And I'm thankful to Mayor Whitfin for allowing me to have this platform and speak with you today. But a little about myself. I'm from Birmingham, Alabama. I like to call myself a daughter of the city. I was born and raised here in a neighborhood called East Thomas, which is inside of the Smithfield community, close to Birmingham Southern, Parker High School, Legion Field. I grew up a house away from where activist Angela Davis grew up and was born. So Birmingham is so significant to me and special to me. It's deep in my heart. And I went to school here as a child. Ended up attending the University of Alabama, Roll Tide, and got into this position because my family has been involved in activism for a very long time. My father is an activist, or maybe he's retired at this point. I don't know. He still does a lot of work. But he really ingrained in me the understanding of fighting for those that need it the most, those that are underserved, those that are marginalized, those that oftentimes, even if they have a voice, the voices are often to be muffled and silenced. So he always taught me to fight for what I thought was right. And so I've been passionate about this work, and pretty much at the inception of, after Mayor Whitfin became the mayor of Birmingham and the inception of his offices, they had a transition team. And the transition team, one part of the transition team, or one of the committees, was the Social Justice Committee. And they came up with the idea that although Birmingham has a civil rights history, there are many disparities still existing in the city, and that we needed to have an office or division that focused directly on those disparities and uplifted them and elevated those issues, and that we needed to have a way for policy. And so when I heard about this division, I immediately sent my resume to the mayor. I had actually been working in the financial industry, working in Community Reinvestment Act and operations. And I was like, yeah, this is something that I'm passionate about. And I want to fight for people that may not be able to fight for themselves. So he gave me this opportunity, and that was 3 years ago, almost 3 years ago, and I've been forever grateful. So that's how I got here.
So this division didn't exist before you?
It did not.
In any form?
You said, I'm sorry?
In any form? There was not like
form.
A predecessor version of what you do?
No, we absolutely lay the groundwork in this office. We lay brand new groundwork. We actually are the first in the state when it comes to like diversity, inclusion, equity. And also LGBTQIA affairs, we are the first.
And so a typical day in your life would be like doing what? I know there's not a typical day. It's like my job. And by the way, I grew up in West End, so I'm a Birmingham boy as well. However, I did go to Auburn University, and
we can't all make the right choice. I was really excited about you, and then you told me Auburn, but no, just joking with you. So no, this office did not exist. And so a typical day for us, I can't even tell you a typical day, because there have been times where me and my teammate Josh Coleman, we found ourselves down at the Birmingham jail during the civil unrest last year. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and we were at the Birmingham jail, trying to make sure that people were being treated fairly, just making sure that everything was going the way it should go. And sometimes that causes for uncomfortable conversations, because people are used to things going the way that they have been going and not changing. But a typical day would be, we're coming in, we've already, set our week with a calendar. And so we're just working on policy, working on things that Birmingham or Alabama may have never seen. Also working internally. So it's not just external policy for the city, it's also like internal policies and procedures, whether it be with our police department, our planning engineering, our innovation economic opportunity. So we work closely with all of those divisions, whether it be an initiative, whether it be an event where we're elevating social justice topics, or whether it be some policy change that we need to make internally within the city government, and getting, the council's buy-in, getting the mayor's buy-in. Yes, getting the mayor's buy-in, because we have to let him know, and give him really the insight as to why these issues are important. So that's a typical day. But again, some days it's untypical. Some days it's, hey, something happened and it is in reference to someone's civil rights or their human rights. And now we have to act on it, or we have to be able to provide the mayor some type of perspective or point of view and talk to him about these issues, and talk about why they're extremely relevant and important.
So obviously, you're working with the mayor's office and the city council, and I trust you're on the agenda on occasion. Probably participate in weekly council meetings. I think they meet weekly. Um, are you getting positive feedback from them?
Yes, I think we had about 2 years where people really didn't understand like what we did or what our office was about. So now, because we have really good relationships. So the office has a few role players. We have Denise Gilmore, who's at the helm. She's the senior director of the division. We have Josh Coleman, who serves as deputy director of the division. Then we have Brandon Johnson, who serves as director in the Office of Peace and Policy, which is an office inside of our division. And then we have Mosi McCoy-Ditaville, who also serves as a deputy director in the Office of Peace and Policy. So we work in a lot of lanes, and we do have to have good relationships with our council members, because there are things that we have to get passed that need the council buy-in. Like, many people may not know, Birmingham is a welcoming city. So there was a call for Birmingham to be a sanctuary city, because of the legislature. We can't do that in home rule. So we said, all right, well, let's be a welcoming city. Let's see how we provide resources and policies and procedures for immigrants or new Americans or undocumented residents here. So we had to pass that through the council, and it went through the council and they passed it. So that those are wins for us when we can get the council's buy-in, so they understand the work that we're doing when we're talking about immigrant affairs, environmental justice, LGBTQIA, cultural preservation, when we're talking about community policing, when we're talking about all of the things that really work towards those marginalized communities.
Uh, Thank you, Uche. We're going to take a short break. I appreciate you sharing that with us. We'll be right back in a minute. This is Our Issues Birmingham. Welcome back to Our Issues Birmingham. I'm speaking with Uche Bean with the Birmingham Division of Social Justice and Racial Equity. Uh, so you've mentioned some of the things you've done, and you refer to them as things. Specifically, um, I got the welcoming part when we were told we couldn't be a sanctuary city. So we did a workaround on that. Uh, are you getting positive feedback from the community in your efforts, not from necessarily the city government, but from those in the community who are joining forces with you? And are you partnered with some of those people?
Oh, absolutely. Of course, you can't make everyone happy, but I think it's important when people actually see your work and then they respect you, right? So there may be times where they may not totally agree with the council members or may not agree with the mayor, but I believe that our staple in the community, which the individual members of this division and the work that we've done, we are respected by many people in the community, especially because they know that we are working for those communities that we're passionate about. So we've gotten great feedback, and not just that. What we did in this division is that we created advisory boards with the mayor. So we have like the LGBTQIA advisory board. We have the women's initiative. We have human rights commission. So we've pulled community members in to ask them for their insight and ask them how we can better serve. Because although we advocate for these communities, we are not experts. We don't have all the answers. So the best way to get those answers is to ask community members. So with our women's initiative, we gathered a group of 30 women and we are like, hey, what are the pressing issues in the city of Birmingham? How can we make Birmingham a better city for women and for girls? And what initiatives do we need to push that the mayor needs to back in order to make those things come to fruition? With the LGBTQ advisory board, hey, how does the mayor's office serve you best as the LGBTQ community? We don't have the answers, but you all can provide that to us. And so we work well with community members, and we really give them a voice. I think transparency is one of the biggest items on Mayor Whitman's agenda, is just being transparent. Again, may not be perfect, but people that were not allowed to speak to officials or even have a voice or even a point of view are now given that point of view with our division.
Well, I hear what you're saying, just like the mayor and the city council are hearing because you are providing them with something to listen to. Are they reacting and moving in a direction upon your request to further
Yes.
and advance those things that you're talking to them about? And if
Yes,
so,
of course.
how are they moving forward?
Absolutely. Of course, because this is the mayor's division and this was part of his transition team and of his vision of making sure that we, had this division be existent. He's always open to us. Of course, we're always in his ear talking about, hey, this is what we think now. Does he always have to jump or move every time we say something? No, he is his own individual, so he can make his own decisions. But it's good that you have someone advocating and voicing concerns that he can listen to, and he's like, okay, I hear you, and he can decide if he wants to take action.
Is he
Um,
taking
the,
action?
yes, he does take action. The things that we put in front of him, he's very receptive to it. We really get to cultivate and create our own content, how we have conversations. We're able to just be very honest. We are given the platform both in communications and in action and policy that we can move forward. We had people come here from our AmeriCorps Vista program, and we wrote out a bunch of policies that we wanted to push. One of them is that we felt like City Hall needed a lactation space. The mayor listened to us and he told divisions to make it happen because we wanted to make sure that we're being fair to women that are nursing. City Hall didn't have one. And those are the things that we see like moving. Like that might seem small to somebody,
Mm-mm.
but as a
It's a
mother
big
and a
deal.
woman who has nursed children, that's huge for me.
Yeah, I get it. Um, do you have funding sources independent of the budget of the city of Birmingham?
No, we do not. But we are
So
very
you're
innovative.
you have to be, I bet, because
Yes.
it's been a rough financial past couple of years.
Yes,
Uh,
it is. We've been innovative, but I think the best part is we understand the use of resources. So we support a lot of our community members and grassroots organizations with resources and connections, and it really helps. I think we have good rapport with people, and people are very helpful to us whenever we ask.
all right, Uche, we're going to take a
Yeah.
short break again. We'll be right back with Our Issues Birmingham. Don't go away. Welcome back to Our Issues Birmingham. I'm talking to Uche Bean with the City of Birmingham Division of Social Justice and Racial Equity. I notice we're using the word equity, which I think is very dynamic instead of the word equality. I do. I think that's was well thought out and hopefully conveys the message you want to convey. For the future, where do you see this division going with the city of Birmingham? And
That's such a
what
great
are some of
question.
your goals and desires, if not goals, desires that you're working towards?
Right, absolutely. So you mentioned equity and equality. I think that that's really important, and people have to understand the difference. Equality literally means that you're assuming that everyone is starting from the same starting point. Equity is understanding that everyone does not start with the same starting point or at the same position or at the same privilege as everyone else. So it's important to identify why we use the word equity when we're talking about this division. We try our best to make sure that in every situation we're coming from an equitable standpoint, meaning acknowledging everyone's differences and everyone's challenges and everyone's backgrounds. So for the future, I really hope for our division to be standalone. We have really accomplished a lot in 3 years. I mean, coming from fruition without having any type of real, roadmap. We started from the absolute bottom. I will tell you, and everyone would hate this, but we did look at Atlanta. Atlanta has a division or an office like this, and so we took a few nuggets and we said, all right, what signifies and resonates with Birmingham, because Atlanta and Birmingham are two different cities. So my hope is that whomever is the mayor, whomever is sitting on the city council, will understand the importance of this division. They will make sure that it continues to exist no matter what administration. I hope that it will continue to advocate for policy change, not just citywide, but statewide, and really make a national impact. One of our hardest things that we deal with is that we do deal with Dillon's Law, and we're home rule. So there are things that we would love to do that we're just not able to do, even if our hearts are in the right place. The best part, though, about working in this administration is, again, we're given absolute control over the things that we are passionate about, and we're able to advocate for groups that may not always agree with the council or the mayor, and we're not looked bad upon that because we're going to go for what we really believe is right. And those people that are fighting for what's right, I think Birmingham's history, it's only right to fight for things that we believe in. So I'm excited about the future. We do have some things in the works. Of course, we know what season it is. It is a political season, so we're waiting on those things to go on by. But I hope that this office will maintain even after all of us are gone. I don't plan on being here forever. So that's what I hope for the future, that it continues and people understand the significance and relevancy of this office, even in a 74% Black city. Racial equity is important no matter what the racial makeup of a city is.
Um, when you mentioned we know what season it is, where we live, it's football season. But you brought it home. It's election time. By the time this show airs, we will either be in a runoff or we will know who the next mayor will be. So, we don't have the luxury of predicting the future.
No, we don't.
We haven't mastered that technique yet. So you spoke of LGBTQ, you spoke of women, you spoke of racial equity. Other than those items, name a few other groups for which you champion the cause of.
So I just so happen to be the daughter of an immigrant. My mother was from Nigeria. Half of my family still lives in Nigeria. So immigrant affairs is something that's extremely close to my heart and I'm passionate about. So we do work in immigrant affairs. We have the opportunity to partner with multiple organizations and advocacy groups that work for new Americans, immigrants, refugees, and those undocumented residents. So we're passionate about that, and we work to be a voice with the mayor and his advocacy for those groups. Of course, cultural preservation, preserving space and place, and we do work with the National Monument and Park Service down in the National Monument, the Civil Rights Historic District. So those are our main lanes. We have a program that comes out of our division. It's called the ACE program, the Academy of Civic Engagement. It's a 7-week program that we offer to all residents in the city of Birmingham between the ages of 16 and whatever age you are. And it pulls back the curtain on city government. You literally get to talk to every department head face to face every week and learn about what's going on. We believe in this administration that you can't have a gripe if you don't know what to gripe about. So we make sure that you are fully prepared with all the tools and knowledge that you need. So if there is an issue or if there's a concern, you at least know who to go to and what the issue is, and you're educated about that issue. So we like to educate the community, and we graduate these people. We have a huge graduation, and we celebrate their accomplishments from finishing the work. So those are just a few of the things that come out. And of course, Civilian Review Board is out of our Peace and Policy Office, making sure that our police interaction with community members is fair and just. And we want to create a bond between community members and police officers. So just a few things that we try to do in this division, and I think we're doing a great job.
Well, just briefly, if an individual watching our show wants to get engaged with the ACE program, what do they need to do?
Absolutely. They can email us at ace@birminghamal.gov or call 205-297-8026. That'll reach directly to me. If they just want to reach our office in general, they can email us at justice, JUSTICE, @birminghamal.gov. Or of course, call City Hall, ask for Uche. It doesn't matter. I love people. I love community. We are always here to talk. You can find me on Facebook. I'm vocal. It doesn't matter however you want to connect with us. We have a Facebook page. We have an Instagram page. We are open to communication with all members of the Birmingham community. And we also work with other cities. We work with Huntsville, Auburn, Mobile, Tuscaloosa. We are always open to communicate with anyone on the work that we've done. And we want to make sure that these types of initiatives go citywide and can be heard nationally.
Well, thank you so much for being with us today. This is Our Issues Birmingham. I appreciate your time. We'll be back next week. Have a nice day.
I am blind, but I need not see. I know this road is there for me.
I think it's just vapor and flavors. It won't hurt my kid like cigarettes.
Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org.